Wonderful afternoon and fantastic evening to all those people out there in the world listening or watching this show. This is Carla from MindPlore with Carla and Friends. The show may be a little shorter today, but we're going to do it anyway. It'll be a little over half an hour. I know that Kamran Z Rizvi will need to leave a little early, and we'll just see how things flow. We are talking about staying centered, staying balanced, which is sometimes a difficult thing for all of us to do because we get involved with what's going on and then we forget what is right for us. So today we are talking about staying centered, staying together in the midst of all the change that is happening every moment in the world. We only have right now. And when we're thinking about the past, which could even be 2 minutes ago, we're in the past, we're not in the present. And when we're worried about, oh, will someone show up for the show or how long they're going to be here? That's worry about the future. We have no idea what's going to happen, but we have this present moment that we need to honor and make happen in the most positive way. Kamran, I would like you to take over for a moment and introduce yourself and then introduce your feelings about the topic.
Thank you, Carla. I'm a leadership trainer in Pakistan. I've been engaging with most segments of society, corporate, academia, government, youth, and 30 years is a very enriching time when I look back at it. Talking of balance, I feel that the clarity of purpose is one which I find as the essential ingredient in finding a balance, to be clear on our purpose. And the second element that I find is priorities. And when we talk of priorities, it is about giving weightage to different aspects in our life, whether it's career, work, family, friends, and community, generally speaking. And to have clarity of purpose and a connection with the different stakeholders in our lives, that to me is critical, because if you don't have this sense of the different actors who play a significant role in your life, then what are you balancing? You're balancing yourself in relation to your environment. And in that context, I would really want to emphasize the word purpose, because that's the fulcrum that keeps us swinging, but not out of sync as such. We will never achieve perfect balance in my mind. I don't think we ever will, but there will be moments of nirvana, if I could say that, Shivali, moment of highs when we will feel at our peak in terms of health, in terms of our mind, in terms of our body. And overall, that is my contribution at this point in time: clarity, priorities being clear, and indeed having a sense of purpose and the actors in our lives.
When you say having a sense of purpose, what do you mean? Because many people don't even know what that means. They think purpose is something way beyond their thinking.
And I think if you agree with me, I have my thoughts on this, but I would love to hear from Shivali and Huma.
I would like your answer first.
The raison d'etre, the reason for being, the why I live, Why did I, what is the meaning of my existence on this planet, not just for myself, but for all those who I care for? And describing that and defining that and arriving at it is so important. And I must say that it's not necessary that we stumble upon a purpose at the age of 18 or 20 or 50. But the search must be on, because it is only when we find purpose that we find calm and we find our paths as to why we came on this planet and what are we doing in relation to that. So it focuses our mind on what is important and what is essential. So if you ask me, what is my purpose in life? I would really say simply this: to elevate the human spirit. That is my purpose in life. To elevate the human spirit. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was a very beautiful and wonderful answer to that question.
Thank you, Carla.
And I appreciate that you telling us this. Shivali, what do you want to say to that question?
To this question of yours.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first, before you go there, tell us who you are.
Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Shivali from India. I'm a coach trainer and a holistic healer. And coming to today's topic, it's about maintaining balance. And connected to this is what is the purpose of our life and how do we maintain that balance or center ourselves? Firstly, this term balance, I'm not sure about it, because who is going to decide what is balance for me or for you? It's a illusion, it's a delusion, I would say. It's all about giving your best, and you give your best when you have certain goals also set for yourself. If you just want to move on in life in a very unplanned way, then there is no difference between the human and the animal world. Okay. Human life has been given to us by God, definitely for some purpose. He has created us. So there's a purpose for that. Now, in discovering what is the purpose of individual life, that is an individual search. And as rightly pointed out by Kamran Z, that it is not about at what age you will discover. It's about the inner journey. And then it just happens, that moment of nirvana that he's talking about, that moment, that aha moment that we have. And those moments we experience more and more, depending on what exactly we are looking forward to in life. So individual's purpose of life is defined by that purpose. And overall, I think the purpose of life, because I actually strongly believe in God. So a person like me strongly believes that the purpose of human life is to serve God. And in serving God, we begin to serve human beings. And in doing so, we are also serving ourselves. This is how I take my entire, perspective on this topic today.
Beautiful. When you said you can't choose someone else's purpose, I totally agree with that. That's for you to decide. It's for you to decide how you keep centered. How you keep center, Kamran or Huma, it's not my business or even my judgment. But it's how you keep yourself from going off keel because of something someone else said. And can, just to make it clear, Huma, did you want to say something?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, I want to get back to you.
Right. I think as Kamran said and Shivali has said it very well. And I realized that the disbalance happened when we take one thing so seriously that then we forget the other things altogether. And to realize it, we need to see that human beings, to create balance, we are not just a physical being. We are mind, body, heart, and spirit. And even when we ignore one thing and from all of that, it creates disturbance in all of the domain, all of the aspects. To make it more simple, I want to recall Stephen Covey's lessons here, where he talked about in 7 Habits that there are 4 needs of human beings, like physical needs, social or emotional needs, intellectual needs, spiritual needs. And even if we ignore one, it can cause disturbance in another. Like Kamran sir said and Shivali said, when we lose a sense of purpose. So this is something connected with spiritual need. We are not connected with nature or why our existence, why we are here, what's our contribution in the community. When we are only just absorbing and when we are only learning and not giving further to somebody, there will be a void inside us, which will keep disturbing us. I want to add an example here of there's a lot of things on social media, and we are so much motivated to be rich, but we don't know that we put so much effort to that extent that we forget our family and children, parents, that where the disturbance happen in social needs. When it happens in social needs, we become depressed. When we are depressed, when we are away from family, we binge eat, we binge watch, we do some unhealthy activity, which eventually cause a problem in physical world. So it's not that it's the problem is happening in only physical, on our health only. It happens in our mental health, it happens in our social needs, and eventually it disturbs our spiritual purpose also. So I think to create balance, we need to realize how we can contribute in a balanced way, divide the time for all these 4 needs. If we lose one, it's a vicious circle. It will disturb everything, and it will be difficult to come out of from. So that's, I think, one spoon of everything is good. We cannot altogether exclude the one ingredient.
And I think that's very important. I think some people get very involved with their business, or very involved with their interests, that they forget to relate to family. And how can we change that? And we have Ozma joining us too right now. How can we change that, Huma?
Yeah, to consciously realize, and I believe realizing is even more difficult than the cure. Once we realize what the problem is, the solution would be better. It's a famous saying that everybody knows that we make our habits, and then our habits make us. So it's your life, it's your track. Write it down, where you are spending your time, and it will be an eye opener that are we leaving the relationships altogether just because I need to work, just because I need to study, just because I need to make money, I'm away from family and my friends. And eventually when we realize it, we lose so many relationships, and we realize that we are chasing something which is not there, which is just an illusion. So I think writing it down or sitting alone, which is also a part of spiritual aspect, that sitting alone, ask yourself, what's your routine, what habits are you making, and then your habit, it will come back to you in so many ways. Are you just dependent on a feel-good hormone, just scrolling social media, eating sweet just because you want to feel good? And it will not come back to you in long term, but instead it's actually deteriorating your whole well-being. So that's what you asked. The best way is to sit with yourself, not with any other. Don't chase what others are doing. Sit with yourself and ask what are your habits and where you need to work on.
Wonderful. I love that. Asma, you are a little late, but I know that there were connection problems. So, and today seems to be a big thing for this show. We're talking about keeping our balance and staying calm, whether the situation is crazy or the situation is very easy to deal with. How do you, after you introduce yourself, how do you relate to this topic?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, apologize for the time. That's very wrong. But I can't. Yeah, I think it's a very great topic. And yes, it's Huma Tariq. It's one of the youngest author. And you always seen me here with Carla. We talked a lot. And so I am here today again. Yes, it's very important to maintain a balance in life. And I really think that it really takes time. Like when you are into something, when you want to doing, when you're very passionate, especially in your young age, you have actually a lot of excitement. You really want to do a lot of stuff. And in that moment, you really forget the other aspects of life when you get involved in one thing. If you want to really into career and you really get into, because that happens. I really work for 24 hours, like I didn't sleep for 2-3 days. That happened because you are really excited to achieve something. And with that, you compromise your health, you have stuff. But I feel that happened with the passage of time. With the passage of time, that's actually honestly speaking, to maintain a balance in life, that's actually something that's privilege. And that you get with the time. It's very important, very necessary. And for that, as Huma said, you need to sit with yourself. And for that, I use one word, and that's self-accountability. I really love that. And I really do that. It's very important. I said it's self-accountability. After some time, you really need to you really need to sit with yourself. You really need to do that. You really need to be accountable yourself for the stuff what you are doing, where you are doing, and what the impacts you are creating. Are you getting something productive? What is happening in your surrounding, in your life? And there, when you sit with yourself and you recall all this stuff, and you get this stuff like what you're doing and where you need to put your time. And yes, it's very important to take all this stuff along with you, your health, your family, your friends. It's very important. And for that, we can maintain some breaks. Like you can do a dinner with your friends on a weekly basis, on monthly basis. You can have a family dinner. These are the small things that we can maintain, but that also take efforts, and that's important. I think for that, discipline is very important, and for that we have to make efforts. And when you discipline, when you your life, and you add this stuff accordingly, then there a lot of stuff get managed. Yeah, so I just say I think their self-accountability is very important, and after some time we really need to do that.
Okay, can you slow down a little with your speech? It's so nice to have you here.
Yeah. There also I need to maintain a balance.
Right. Can you please define self-accountability, please?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for me, self-accountability is like we usually accountable. We usually keep accountable for the other people's. We really keep this stuff, and we really want to judge what people are doing, and we really do that. But I feel that after some time, it's very important to accountable yourself. There, you don't need someone to tell you what you are doing and what you are what impact you are creating. It's you. After some time, you need to sit with yourself and you need to talk with yourself. Hey man, hey girl, what are you doing? And what's our plan? What are these days, what happening in my life, in my family, all that things you need to discuss with yourself. And I really keep a journal. I even write this stuff because we usually forget. I think human forget. That's stuff. So it's very important to keep a record of that thing, record of this stuff. I write this stuff, like these are the things I need to achieve. These are the things I achieved, and these are the impacts that happened in my life. These days, yet I am working hard on my career, but on the other side, on my personal life, there's some things are messed up, and I really need to solve, like I really need to sort them out. I really need to deal with them. And sometimes that happens, you really involved in your personal life and you are forgetting the other stuff. So that's actually an effort. You can't say like we don't live the life on there. Some people might live the life on the like time. They do everything on just with the clock, but that's a hard thing. So we do mistakes. We try to keep the balance, but for that, that's why I said when we do this self accountability, then it become easy to sort it down the things, become easy to maintain a balance between the stuff.
Thank you. Kamran, what do you want to say to that before you disappear?
I came across a quote, before I vanish. I came across a quote from Nigella Lawson. She's a cookery host and comes up with amazing dishes. And she says, and cooking is about balance and harmony. And I suddenly saw so much balance in nature and the rising and the setting of the sun, moon and the tides in the ocean. There is so much harmony and beauty and balance in nature. That is an inspiring feature of our lives. And I think we need that inspiration to come to us. And that is why I find a lot of times when we go for a vacation, we vacate from the humdrum of life and get into a very soothing and a calming space, which is full of beauty and splendor. So I think balance comes from communing with yourself, being comfortable with yourself, and gratitude, I feel, is one element which helps you realize the kind of relationships you have, the kind of health you're enjoying, the kind of opportunities that are coming your way, even the struggles and the difficulties that we face sometimes. And often they can be very painful. When you look at the life in total, it's a balancing act. No pain, no gain. I mean, I find that those who have not experienced excruciating suffering are unable to enjoy the ecstasy and joy of life. So the balance is out there, and it is sometimes very uncomfortable when we are out of balance. And in that, we are unconsciously trying to find our way back to the being centered, as Carla, you rightly said. So I had a metaphor of a tightrope walker, and there is focus, there is trust in self, there is a very clear goal, and it's all about balance of getting from point A to point B. I feel that it is not really, I mean, I would love to learn of Shivali's perspective on some other occasion, but I feel balance is something that we find and we lose, we find and we lose in our way to our destiny. These are some of my thoughts, and I must say that I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I wish I could have been here longer, and I must rush. And I would love to listen to the recording with the remaining ladies over here. It's always such fun to be with beautiful ladies on a show like this.
And I hope you will share it out to your friends and family too.
Of course I will. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Huma. Thank you, Shivali and Asma. And thanks for joining in and stepping in for me. I think that's a remarkable, passing the baton example. Thank you, Asma. God bless you.
Thank you for your insights.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Kamran, for coming for
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, who wants to comment on Kamran's comment?
I think, yes.
Oh, Shivali, go.
Yes, I think Kamran has said it very beautifully. It's actually the balancing act. It is again very relative. It is the individual perspective altogether. As Asma pointed out, that we owe everything to ourselves. We are responsible for ourselves, and that is why she's talking about journaling things also, so that you remain in focus. The individual remains in focus, and you owe it to yourself. And another point I would like to add here is that we are human. We are not supposed to be perfectionists. There will be times where we will be going down the tide also. So these ups and downs is a part of the balancing act. Our ability to withstand the so-called ups and downs is what is balancing is all about. It's how you look at it. For a person who may be having the best of things, yet he doesn't find himself balanced or centered. So it is not about material things. It's something totally different. It's how you relate to it. So the example of nature, everything is balanced in nature. It's just that the human beings with their greed and the need to have more and more and more is what is creating the issue most of the time. So and that is also part of the journey. There is no harm in going through that journey, but a time should come when your goals should be very clear to you. What are those goals? That is the individual to decide. It could be personal goals, it could be financial goals, it could be familial goals, it could be spiritual goals. So, kind of having a bit of everything is what is my understanding of balance. But it's okay to get imbalanced at times, as long as you are happy and you're able to cope with it. And coping with that is again an individual thing. Someone can guide you, someone can inspire you, someone can motivate you, but ultimately you are the one who's taking charge of your life. And once you can do that, things become much easier, and acceptance also seeps in. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have those downs also. This is the way I look at it.
The downs are part of life. Life is cyclical. It goes up, it goes down, and it goes up, and it goes down. However, how we handle life is a different thing. If we're always going up and down in life, then we are not centered. But if we take a moment and realize, hey, that life is always changing, things are always moving forward, we cannot expect things to be exactly as they are from moment to moment, even within seconds. And I'd like someone, I mean, that's my take on it, but I would like to know how others in this group take this. Huma, what do you think?
I think you have just discussed very important point of making mistakes and fear of making mistakes. And as Shivali said, it's okay to be imperfect sometimes. Don't try to chase perfection. And it's just like, let's say we take bath every day. We cannot say that we have just take shower, now we don't need it for a month or forever. We know that this is something we need it daily. Just like that, we need reminders. We need self-assessment every other day. It's just not a matter of one day. Just like your show, it's a wonderful platform for reminders for all of us. Even during the conversation, amidst the conversation, I realized so many things about myself. Just like that, we need reminders. So self-assessment every now and then is important. As Asma said, self-accountability. For self-accountability, we need self-talk. And one more thing that this just came in my mind, that just the way human beings built, we are chasing happiness, a feeling of happiness. And when we look deep down into it, we are chasing something like, when I get dash, then I will be happy. When I get this, then I will be happy. We need to see very closely what this is, what in the dash in your blank is. Is this something what you are chasing? Is this really worthwhile? Is it really worth chasing for? Or are you leaving three things behind for chasing one thing? Here, the disbalance appears. I think for that, Kamran sir has said very wonderful thing about nature. We need to learn from nature. We need everything to run this ecosystem: rain, insects, animals, trees. If it rains all the time, rain is important, but it rains all the time, 24/7, 12 months, of course there will be disaster. But nature knows how to create balance. Just like that, we need to see how to create balance by self accountability, self talk, and Asma raised very important point about discipline. Who will create discipline for myself? My mom will not, my siblings will not, my children will not, my teachers will not. I will create it for myself. So for that, a little bit of a cue, a positive cue is important. For that, I need to make discipline in my room, uh, a good environment. If I want to do dieting, I should not be hungry. Like, dieting is important, but and exercise is important. I should not do exercise whole day, and I should not do dieting whole day. But I should keep the sweets away from my house. I should give myself a little cues, positive cues for my mind to do that. So I think this is very important, that try your best and see see your progress, keep the track of your progress every other day, self accountability and discipline, and stop chasing what you see on social media, that glamorizing thing. I think this is something what distracts us most these days, especially.
And perfection, is there really perfection? You are the most perfect at Huma Tariq. Shivali is the most perfect Shivali. Asma is the most perfect Asma. And it also goes for me. I'm the most perfect Carla, although I know I make a lot of mistakes and I get hard on myself. What is perfection and how do we see it? Huma, you brought up the word.
Perfection is, I think it's a battle of either or. We need to be perfect in what we want without even thinking for a second what we are doing. Perfect. I need to be perfect. For example,
Really? I'm sorry, I should not have interrupted you, but everything changes by the moment. Maybe today you want to talk about balance, but tomorrow you may, or even 10 minutes from now, you may decide there's no such thing as balance. Why am I talking about it? This is a waste of time. Each moment is perfect, isn't it?
Correct. That's exactly, you are correct. Each moment is perfect, but we are chasing for, we see perfection as something else. We are avoiding mistakes. I need to be perfect in writing until I start writing. So this is something what we are chasing, but it's an illusion. Chasing every moment is perfect. Even practicing is perfect. This is perfect to be
right.
Right. That's
my point. So how can you be perfect other than do what you're doing?
We can be perfect by knowing that you make mistakes. Okay, it was perfect to make mistakes. I will not do it again. I'm practicing. It's okay to make mistakes and practicing. eventually I will be better day by day. That's, the appreciating the whole journey. It's not just the result or just one destination. Enjoying the journey is perfection. It's just, this is just the key, not just chasing the result.
And do we always enjoy the journey? Or do we get stuck in wanting to be perfect?
Sometimes we get stuck. We just need reminders to get back from that phase.
Right. But we need to figure out how to give ourselves that reminder instead of me expecting Shivali or Huma or Asma to give me that reminder. Shivali, what is perfection to you?
Actually, there's nothing called perfection. While Huma was speaking, I'll just narrate something. Initially, in childhood, when I used to try my hand at sketching and painting, say I would look at the trees around me and I would sketch. I would never be happy with my drawing because I felt it was not perfect. Why? Because when I looked at nature, everything appeared very beautiful. And yet, in nature, there are imperfections. So the definition of perfection is again something very individual. It's how I looked upon my drawing. I didn't find perfection in it somehow. So maybe if Carla had a look at it and she would say, "Oh wow, Shivali, you've sketched so well, so beautifully." She found the perfection in that imperfection. So how do we really define perfection? There is nothing. And who is going to ultimately decide? No, it's the individual. Like they say, the beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So perfection lies in the eye of the one who is beholding so-called perfection. So for me, there is nothing called perfection. This is how I look at it.
Okay. Asma, perfection.
Yeah, perfection. That's what we want. And that's what I want really. But honestly think, as you said, in the nature, there's nothing perfect. There's nothing something to be very okay. So for me, what I find out after lots of struggles of getting perfection, I found it's that imperfection is actually the perfection. Like to stay happy with the imperfection, that's actually the perfection. And that's what the nature is. Like I always say, if you see the red apples and you call them perfect, there are the apples which are green. There are the apples which are pink. There are the apples which are pink and green. You can't call what is perfection. What is the perfect? Everything is perfect. So there is actually the perfection is in the imperfect. The imperfect is actually the perfect one. I really love that. It's okay to be not okay, because that's fine. It's okay, and that's okay, and that's actually okay, because they all are. There's nothing in the nature. Yeah, but I think I just want to say one thing, that we all it's the personal priorities. It's the personal choices, what we want to achieve, what we want in our lives. As some people want some stuff in the career, some really want to have a wonderful house. They don't even want to think about the other what's happening outside the home. They don't want to care about that. They're very happy in their small house with their family. They love that, and that's perfect. I can't call like, what is this? Why you are not bothering what's going on outside in the country? If that person is not bothering and don't want to think even about that, because he is already in a state of peace and he's happy. So that's personal choices. That are the personal choices. So I think first we really need to determine what's our priorities, what we want in the life, and then the things goes aside. And yes, we won't do it better. If there's one thing, we can be better, little better every day. I really love that. Like I want to do something better than the yesterday. And that's what my goal throughout the life. That's what I get, better than yesterday. Need to do even a single thing, need to learn some stuff, need to do something, need to look good, whatever, just to be better than the yesterday. And that's what we do throughout the life. You can't decide what level you want to be. Might be you have some level in your mind. And once you achieve that level, honestly, you want to achieve another level. That happened with me. Once there was a stage when I really wanted to get some award, because you really, as a student, you really love the awards which schools gave you. This is fascinating thing. And now I get that, honestly, that happened with me. Once I get one award, I don't even look at the award for more than 1 minute. And the other thought that comes in my mind is that I need one another. I need another from another country, from another organization. And I don't look at the previous one. And that happened. So now I am focusing on the process, as Huma and Shivali says, life is a process. And enjoy the process. Everything is honestly in the process. Once you gain something, once you, even the phone, everything that like even the home, you don't even look again on that thing. You want something other. And that's really the human nature. So this is only one thing, enjoy the process and just better than the yesterday.
But should we be concerned about tomorrow, or should we be concerned about the moment?
We say we are concerned about the moment. These are what we write, but it's very difficult to stay in the moment, because in my mind, I am worried about tomorrow, and that's difficult to attain. I might say here, Carla say here that live in the moment, but in my mind, I know I'm working for something. So certainly in my mind, there is the stuff that is striving for tomorrow. What would happen tomorrow? What I would get that. With the passage of time, with the practice, you get that quality to stay in the moment. You're starting enjoying the moment. You're starting enjoying the process. And that doesn't happen like if you did that once, that doesn't mean you would do that twice, thrice. In fact, might be after doing twice, you forgot that and you're starting worrying for tomorrow. But then you will remind yourself, oh, what you are doing, Asma, you really need to be staying in the moment. And then you will start again the process. And might be after doing 3-4 times, you would forget. But again, you have to remind yourself, hey, what you are doing.
So is the moment more important, or is what's going to happen tomorrow more important?
Certainly the moment. Certainly the moment, that's important. But we can't deny that tomorrow is not important. Like I am playing today with my friends, but I have assignment in my office that I need to submit. So if I say I really enjoying the moment, I really don't want to think about the work. And throughout the day, I just
whoa. You just said, I don't want to think about the work. That's fine. If you're not in the mood to be worry about the work or be concerned about the work, why be concerned?
Because Carla, because I have to submit the work tomorrow. That's the deadline, and that I have to done. But Carla, these are the things that look good, but practically these are the stuff that's hardly impossible. So I'm just gonna add it practically. This is called balance. This is balance. Like you are enjoying the moment, but you know, being a human, you have some responsibilities. You have to work. So there you are maintaining balance with work, with your enjoyment, with all the things. This is balance, because being a human, I don't have one field. Being a human, I don't have a one responsibility. I have multiple responsibilities. I have to do multiple things. I can't do one thing. And as you said, Yes, I can. There might I get a stage where I don't even bother about tomorrow. That's a privilege that even you have to earn. We earn the privilege. If I'm living somewhere that's a very comfortable environment, this is not available for everyone. Might be I earn it, might be my parent earn it for me. We have to earn this stuff. And even this is a privilege. Honestly speaking, this is privilege. Living the moment is a privilege that we have to earn it, and that you get after some time, phases of time, after even after struggles, you get that.
Okay, Huma, what do you think?
I think she beautifully said, and I think the summary of this, what Asma said, would be, even if you want to live in future, even if you're worried about future, still you need to be present, because your present makes your future. What makes your future? Your future doesn't make your future. Your present makes your future. So I think she's right that it's not about forgetting about every responsibility. It's about being present and conscious and proactive. That I need my assignment to be submitted tomorrow, but I cannot forget the assignment, but I can do it at the moment and enjoy the moment as well. Uh, that's what I believe in. And it reminded me of event of myself that I was working several years back, and I eagerly wanted a vacation. So, and eventually I got the chance. And meanwhile, I got a very important assignment as well. So I was debating with myself that should I go to the vacation or should I not, because I have work to do. And eventually I was thinking to leave vacation. And I also don't want to leave vacation. So there was one of my teachers who said, "Are you facing FOMO at this moment?" I said, "What is?" I wasn't aware of the term. He told me it's fear of missing out. And then he educated me that this vacation is something you needed eagerly, you always need it, and you know that you will get the assignment again and again. You get it almost daily. So why leaving vacation? So there's something inside you to be perfect, and to not leave something should not things should not be left by me. Like, I don't want to leave this, and I don't want to leave both of them. I wasn't living in the moment. And then I realized that yes, I had the fear of missing out, that I was feeling fearful of missing this also and that also. Then I chose what was important for me, and I lived in the moment. It was a good he enlightened me with the concept, and then I realized that we chase something so desperately that we lose the focus sometimes. That's from my side.
Shivali?
Yes, Huma has pointed out to something very vital, priorities. I think we spoke right in the beginning about setting up your own goals and priorities. So it is not about long-term plan actually. It's you take life as it comes, okay, without over expectations. At the same time, you should be happy about whatever you're doing or facing. And human spirit is invincible. At the end of it, whatever challenges may come in our lives, at whatever level it's coming, after some time that time goes away and you move on with life. So there is nothing called perfection, and it's all about maintaining that balance at a given moment of time, and it is automatically decided by us. And how we do it, it's again an individual approach. So I feel that it's okay, just accept things as they are and go with the flow. This is how I look at it.
Accepting things as they are is sometimes difficult. You don't want to accept something for whatever reason. So what do you do?
Well, there are two options. Again, you have a choice. You want to feel upset. Again, that's perfect. That's the way you deal with it emotionally and otherwise. So it's okay. You deal with it. And you soon realize that after some time, that thing just moves away. It doesn't really matter. And then when you look at it objectively, much later, yes, at that moment, it could be a challenge. That could be a challenge, 100%. And that's what human life is all about. That is why we are human. So there is nothing called a perfect moment in our life. It's all temporary.
Atma?
Yeah, we have already discussed a lot. What it might be very philosophical, but honestly speaking, we discuss a lot of this stuff, and that's very important because while discussing this stuff and while sharing this stuff with each other, you gain a lot and you learn a lot. That's very important. But with that, which I want to say with the audience, honestly speaking, there's nothing, something that's very like hard and trick rule. Like you need to be do these things accordingly. If you don't do, if you like didn't follow that thing, there might something big would happen. This nothing would happen. There is honestly there is no as such rule in the nature. This life is actually a process where you have to explore some stuff, where you have your own priorities, you have own your choices, your own rules, even your own rules, how you want to live the life. So I just want to like explore the life. There might be for someone it's something like live with some, for someone it's accepting things, for someone it might work, for someone might it doesn't work. But one thing that is one, like, don't close your arms. That means that like look into the nature, keep your arms open, let the nature interact with you, let the nature contact with you. That is the most important thing that works. Otherwise, we have a lot of philosophies, we have a lot of books that works, but somehow that doesn't work too. So you can find, even you can make your own rules. You can find them. You can find them by your own self. That's possible. That might be one person get a success by following some books, by following some rules, and you might don't get that. You might have to explore this stuff by your own self. So for that, I say, like, explore this stuff. Let the process interact with you. Let the nature interact with you, and just live the process. Life is actually a process where sometimes you gain balance, sometimes you lose it, sometimes you get a state that is just like a perfect, that we call it perfect. Sometimes you live in a state that you call it hell. So this all is this all is are the stages of the life, stages of life. So just like live it, live the process.
What do you think, Huma?
I just want to summarize it with what Asma said about accountability. That's the point number one. And I think sit with yourself and make a list of the coping mechanisms that you have been following. And as I said, you make your habits, and then your habits make you. What are the habits that you are making for yourself? And what are the habits that creating imbalances? Because cure is sometimes realizing is difficult than cure. Once you realize where is you are wrong and what is causing imbalance, take it out from your routine, work on it. And I think that's the key. Once you decide seriously, the things will be easy for you, very easy for you.
Okay. But is it really a decision, or is it something that we actually just fall into? If we decide that we're going to be happy, if that's the decision you make, is it something that we need to do anything else about, but always turn to the thoughts of joy?
Correct. So there is a difference, happiness and joy, what you are chasing actually. As you said, you decide to be happy. It depends on what the happiness in your definition. Maybe you say that eating chocolates and sweets and a lot of junk food is your happiness. So is it really happiness or just a coping mechanism, just a temporary good feeling, feel good hormone? Or what should actually be done? The answer, you have the question and you also have the answer too. Your inside, it's always intrinsic. The answers will come from inside you. That's what the spiritual connection is, where Kamran Sir and Shivali talked about. This is all about. Happiness is not always feel good. It's something intrinsic.
Is happiness an inside job or an outside job?
It's inside job. The joy, when you feel joy, it's inside job.
Okay.
It's both.
So it's not dependent on what's happening in the world.
What did you ask? Sorry, I missed it.
So happiness is not dependent on what we see outside the world. Like if in the world, I want to see peace throughout the world, whether that happens or not, does that have anything to do with our inner happiness?
Yes, happiness is not outside, but also we create it outside. We should not wait it from outside, but we should create and give it to outside. Make something that gives happiness. Eventually, it comes from inside.
Eventually, or does it start from inside?
It starts from inside, and when you share it, you spread it outside as well. Like, I want to create happiness by calling my friend, how are you doing? Are you okay? Just checking on him, on her, or anybody. I want to ask my mom, how are you doing? And have a bonding, a connection. That's what I was talking about, emotional needs. That's a joy that comes from inside. And then we decided to, okay, let's go to picnic, let's go to somewhere. Now I created outside as well. Now we did planting together. Now I'm creating it outside as well. And now that hobby of myself is also giving me happiness. Are you getting my point?
Oh, I'm getting your point.
Yeah,
I wanted to make sure that people who are listening are getting
right.
your point.
So this is something, it comes from inside, and then you create hobbies outside of you to give back happiness again. This is, it's always sharing.
So do you create that? It's not actually a hobby, but I know in your translation of English, do you translate habit into learning a practice that brings you back to yourself instead of wondering if Shivali, Asma, me, or anyone agrees with you?
Yeah, you said it right, that actually how it's about practicing and learning how to get happiness.
I don't know if you remember the Beatles song, which just came back to me, Within and Without, that joy begins within and then moves without, outside of you. So if you're looking for the joy outside, oh, I want that Prius, and you don't have it yet, are you going to get it by saying, oh, I don't have it? Or are you going to get it by saying, I want to get it and I can get it? Huma?
I didn't listen to the song you were talking about, actually.
It doesn't matter. I'm talking about the technique, what joy is.
Yeah, you said it correctly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shivali?
Well, happiness is a choice, actually. It's a choice that an individual makes. And in a given situation, for example, because challenges will come. Okay, this we already know. So when those challenges come, what is our response? What is our immediate response? And then how gradually, as we have used the word process, that acceptance. So happiness is something which an individual has to decide. It comes from within. Um, and then from inside it goes out. But yes, there are moments when you are getting motivated from the external point also. You are deriving joy from what you observe outside also. It's a two-way process actually. It is not that it starts here and it goes out there. It's not like that. It's an ongoing process, in and out. It's taking place at one point. Like, for example, a person could be feeling very sad and sit in the midst of nature, just sitting in nature. He gets happiness in that moment of nirvana, as today Kamran was pointing out. And then that joy wells from within as a result of the stimulus which came from without. So it's all interconnected. But at the end of it, happiness is a choice which an individual makes. And as I again keep on saying, that human spirit is invincible. And the beauty of human life is that how that individual entity creates value. It's something called value creation in our life at every given moment of our life. How we add to the meaning of life, both for ourselves and for others. And that is the true purpose of life.
Okay. What do you think, Huma? What is the true purpose of life?
Yeah, it depends from person to person. Different people have different purposes, and when you touch your soul, when you, as Shivali said, when you go to the nature and reflect it, that's reflection she is talking about. When one do it, then we can look into our purpose, and when we work on the purpose, it comes from inside, and then we take it outside and we share it. It creates even more happiness. It's come back to you in so many ways in long term.
And what is your purpose?
My purpose is to spread love and elevate the consciousness, I feel. I mean, by learning, every other day I learn something new, and I also want to elevate it in others.
Okay. What's your purpose, Shivali?
Reaching out to others. I find great joy in reaching out to others. This is something which I sincerely mean it. And of course, this has happened with age also. Through life's experience, I have come to know that the whole purpose of my existence is to reach out to others. Because the moment I reach out to others, spreading love or whatever little step that I'm taking, it gives me a lot of joy myself. And I feel I'm doing justice to my living as a human being also. And in doing so, I'm serving God. So for me, everything is connected with the divine. So how this has happened, how I found this purpose of life, again, life itself taught me. It has not happened in one day or in 1 month or something. This is how I look at it.
And Azma, what is your purpose?
What is my purpose? That's a long story.
No, just in a few words, because we need to close the show.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah, my purpose, honestly, that is to find the inner peace. And that's what sometimes you say that you have attained that, but you have to achieve that. So yes, if I say that is also my purpose, to get a peace, to find inner satisfaction. I think that's something that I sometimes feel missing out, and that's what I am searching for. And that's why I'm connecting with the nature. I'm trying to connect with them, learning from the nature. That's fine. But there are lots of stuff. There are lots of things I want to do, and that's my purpose of life. But mainly, I would say that.
Okay. And with that, we have come to an end to another show of MindPlore with excellent people speaking about staying focused, staying centered, and their purpose in life. I want to thank Huma, Asma, and Shivali and Kamran, who left early, for speaking today. And we are going to close the show. We'll be back next Tuesday with another MindPlore. Can we wave goodbye?
Goodbye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.